Hello, everyone. Brian here with Hospice Care Marketing and bringing a special, excited about this one, your 2026 Internet Marketing Plan. So let's get into it. For one, please drop a drop a message in the chat. Just let me know you can see me and hear me. That'd be great. I'll pop open that chat so I can keep an eye on it. All right, cool. So today's plan, we're gonna set some clear goals and targets for the year. If you guys haven't already done that, I think really important also is to align on the KPIs and the tracking to achieve those outcomes. So, we might set a goal, but it's like, how do we get there, right? Like, what do we need to do monthly? How many leads do we need to get monthly to get there? So we'll map out your plan to accomplish those goals, your budget, channels, important trends. We'll be looking at. We're going to look at all the different things you could be doing online to strengthen, to get some more leads, get some more of those people calling that are looking for hospice services. So, super excited for that. And plan is to set you up for massive success in 2026 and beyond. Okay. Um, so I have a workbook. Let me put that in the chat here. I have a couple resources for you. What you're going to do here is putting that in the chat. So what you're going to do with this workbook, it'll pop open a Google Doc and it'll prompt you to make a copy. Okay, so this will be your doc. You'll be jotting things down in it. Use this today when we're going through this. Okay, so open that link, right? It's going to open up a Google Doc. It'll prompt you to make a copy. So make a copy, and now that's your Google Doc, right? It's not going to be mine. It's not. It's in your hands. It's no one else can see it, right? You're making a copy, and that is shared with just you once you make that copy. So let me know if you're clear on that. If anyone's stuck, let me know in the chat. But yeah, that's that. Um, we'll also have a little calculator to kind of map out like, okay, this is our revenue target. What do we need monthly to get there? How many new patients a month will that require? Okay. So who am I and why you should listen to me? The author of the book, Internet Marketing for Hospice Providers. I am a strategist that's been working in digital marketing since 2012. I've been working with a hospice since 2019. We have a proven plan for getting more visibility in Google Maps and your paid ads and generating leads and growing census. So I think that the most important thing is that we this is what we do every day, right? We have a team. We're on a mission to triple the sales of 1,000 hospice providers across the country. Um, and this is what we're doing every day, right? We're building the websites, we're doing the SEO, we're tracking everything, we're running the paid ad campaigns. So what I'm sharing today, right, is not based on, you know, some book I read or something I found on the internet or anything like that. Okay, it's based in real world. I have a team that supports all the efforts, right? They build the websites, they design the websites, they write the content, they run the paid ad campaigns, they're doing the SEO. So, and again, we're on a mission to triple the sales of 1,000 hospice providers, and we've already accomplished that in many, many cases. So, happy to share that. So today is all about your internet marketing plan, right? We're going to be looking at the biggest trends. Maybe you've heard of AI and Chat GPT and things like that. What can you do to show up in all these different areas, right? There's a lot of buzz and a lot of uh, a lot of noise about, these AI systems and tools. So, yeah. And then we want to look at like giving your patients the chance or the opportunity to reach out not only by calling, right? We want to be able to maybe start a two-way text conversation with them. So giving them the option. I'm sure a lot of your patients, a lot of the family members that may be calling in inquiring would like to start in that area if given the option. Okay, so we want to look at ways to accomplish that, and having some lead follow up features. So say a lead comes in, they fill out a form, right? Having some AI follow up with them to set an appointment or to get that callback scheduled. Um, and then looking at some authentic video, right? AI can't replace the authenticity that you can bring with video, and that really answers questions and positions you as the expert in your market. So. If you can just drop a question or a answer, I'd like to know where you guys, all you guys on right now, where you guys are from. What markets do you serve? I'd love to see that. So, uh, see a number of you in here, so I'd like to see some some responses. Um, let's see. All right, cool. So, what are your goals for 2026, right? Have you, if you do have a goal right now, maybe it's like a monthly census goal or a revenue target you're trying to accomplish. What is that goal? If you can also put that in chat along with that service area, that would be great. Um, Without goals, right? We're kind of like a sailboat out there at sea, right? We're moving. We might not be moving in the direction that we want, right? And having those goals really puts the wind in your sails to that target. So I'm a true believer in that. Um, and again, open up that workbook there and jot down in your workbook. You have the opportunity to jot down what your revenue is right now, your average, like the current state of the business, right? What's the average monthly revenue and what's the average monthly census, right? And then a couple other metrics, right? Is like what is the average patient bring into the hospice on a monthly basis? And what do you think your conversion rate is in terms of people making contact, right? Some people may be referred to you. Some people may not have been referred to you and found you and called right when they're in need. So what is the average conversion of someone calling and having that person booked on service, right? Having that person come on to service. So let me know those numbers. Those are really important. I'll give you a minute to open up that workbook, jot this stuff down, right? Average monthly revenue, your average monthly census, and then the conversion rate, right, from caller to a family members on service, right? And uh, what's the value? What's the average value of a patient to your business on a monthly basis? So I know some patients may be on service for months and some, not so much, right? Some might be a little bit less. So um, yeah, if you can, you might not have this offhand, but if you give some sort of idea, if you have like a guesstimate, I guess that might be really helpful. And then what is the goal for 2026? Okay, what is your annual revenue target? Or what's the number of patients you want to be serving on a monthly basis? If we were to fast forward into December of 2026, what do you want that to be? Okay. So I'll give you a minute, jot that down. Okay. And if you could just drop a one in the chat, let me know that you have that number. What is your annual revenue target next year, and how many patients will you be serving on a monthly basis if we fast forward into December of 26? Okay. Believe it, most people don't do this, right? And again, you're like that sailboat at sea, right, without clear goals. So having these goals will really put those wind in your sails and set you up for massive success. Um, I think the next important element to all this is your why. Okay, so what is going to be different for your life in December of 2026 when you hit this goal? What would you like to do, right? I think this is going to be the one of the most important things, right? If you can get really clear on your why as to like uh, accomplishing that goal, if you know exactly why, um, right, that really will set you up for massive success, right? It'll put the energy to achieving those goals, right? Those outcomes. So just jotting down your goal here is you're a step ahead of a lot of business owners, right? And mapping out your why, you're now you've taken a big leap ahead. So yeah, awesome. We also have this calculator. So if you open up this calculator. I'm going to click that link here and boom. So something you can play around with, right? If you just go to hospicecaremarketing.com/calculator, you can, say the annual revenue target was 3 million. Okay. Now you know how, like, what the revenue is needed monthly to hit that. And then say the average patient or the average value per patient is 3,000 a month. Right? You would know we would need about 84, a census of 84 to hit that monthly revenue target and to at the end, right, hit that 3 million goal. Okay. And then I think this is really cool too. You can adjust, say the average conversion rate, like you talk to 10 people, right? Three of them come on service, right? That would be a 30% conversion rate, right? So we're going to need, 280 conversations a month. Okay. And, if I don't know if that sounds outrageous to you, but this, right, if you could increase the amount of services you get from the leads that you're already receiving, right, if you can jump that up to 40, right, it changes the numbers. Okay, so we're going to need a lot less leads, right? And um, if it was 50%, right, you would need a lot less leads on a monthly basis to hit that goal, right? And so you can also uh, see the number of leads needed to hit the target on an annual basis, right? And number of patients you would have had to serve to attain that goal. So, um, really cool tool. I encourage you to use that. I'll jot the link in the chat here. And I think I actually already have it open somewhere. There we go. For you. So it's hospicecaremarketing.com/calculator. Uh, and then, oh yeah, the budget planner there was something else to take a look at. If you took your numbers from there it is. So we needed 168 leads per month, right? You can jot that into say this was 3,000. right? This was 30%. Okay. Cost per lead, say it's $50. Um, Monthly marketing budget. Okay, so you're going to need, expected results from the budget. So this is pretty helpful. But if you got 100 leads, um, with that 5,000 spend, right? Every new patient brings in about 3,000. 30 expected services, right? If we're converting 30% of those leads, that's the expected revenue there. So, um, really cool little tool. Let me know if you find that helpful. But I'm gonna come back here. There we are. All right, cool. So now we are going to look at the marketing strategy, right? Like what are we going to do behind the scenes to attain this? And I really think when you're looking at internet marketing, there's really three things that you got to solve for, right? You got to drive leads, right? So we need more people coming to your website, to your landing pages, finding your ads, calling your company, right? Essentially, we have to get more people to it. So that's one thing we have to solve for. The next thing is conversions, right? We have to maximize all the opportunities that we can, right? And there's things you could do on your website, right, to accomplish that, to get more people inquiring, right? The way you lay out, the way you design, right, where you put the phone number, where you putting the call to action. What is the call to action, right? Are you testing these headlines and things? Very important. So we want to so drive leads, maximize conversion, then we got to optimize results, right? We can't just leave something out there and hope it works. Okay. Uh, Definitely want to be testing, especially if you're running Google ads, things like that. Things need to be tested, right? Headlines need to be tested. Uh, and the ad copies need to be tested. Uh, your landing pages, right? Where you're putting the calls to actions, those things can all and should all be tested. Um, and the first thing we're going to talk about here is organic SEO, right? We consider this the foundation really of all your marketing is your organic SEO has a lot to do with your website and how you show up organically in the search results. Okay. And I think a big thing here is, maybe you've heard of all these AI tools, and maybe you've seen some other marketing marketing people talking about AI and how you need to, optimize for AI search and all this and that. So, I think a good question there, right? Does SEO still matter? Okay, and what we see, right? These are current numbers. Okay, 71% of the clicks happen in the first like five results. Okay, or I'm sorry, 67% of the search, right? That they land on the first five results. Okay, so there's uh, the lion's share of the visitors are landing in those first five results. So showing up in the top in your service area for a number of different keywords is very, very important, right? So, the hospice care in your city or hospice care in your county or hospice near me, right? How do you show up in your city, in your market when someone performs that search? Okay. And we know that 71% of the clicks, right, are happening in those first few clicks, right? Are from the organic listings. And the 67% land on the first five results. So, um, yeah, and we can see from all the other things that we track, right? Are the lion's share of the traffic is really coming from the organic search side of things, right? Like you can see here, most of the traffic is coming from the organic search, and then we see there's stats in your Google dashboard. I don't know if you pay attention to these things, but very important to, take a peek in there in your performance tab. Look at the last month and see how many calls came in from that, right? And you can see this client, we got them, up over 300% in phone calls. And this is not measuring every call that comes into your business, right? If people just read the phone number and call it. But how this gets tracked is from a mobile search results page. So if someone on their mobile phone saw your Google listing in their search result on their phone, right? They're likely going to have a click to call button. So every time from a mobile search result, that click to call button happens. That's what we're looking at. So it's a lot more visibility showing up in the organic search, and then people are calling from it. So that's what we want. Okay, and you see there's just numerous occasions of this, just more visibility, more calls. Okay, and so I can confidently say yes, SEO still matters, right? It drives the lion's share of our clients' traffic to their websites. Okay, and you can't just rely on pay-per-click alone. And so I mentioned things about AEO or GEO. These are the SEO or um, the AI tools out there, like Siri, things like that. That's going to be your answer engine optimization, and then GEO is more in line with like ChatGPT, Google's Gemini, Perplexity, Claude, all these large language models out there. Um, so is it important to show up in these AI? And I think it is important to definitely show up in these search results. And not, if you do, if you so, some people on the call may be using ChatGPT a lot, but it is growing in popularity and it's catching up. All right, not Google's still the monster, right? That with the lion's share of the searches and everything, but ChatGPT and these other AI platforms are catching up. Okay, so a lot more people are going to ChatGPT, going to Google's Gemini, Perplexity, and they're typing in, uh, you know, find me, uh, find me a hospice provider near me in this city or whatever. Who do you recommend? And um, you'll get searches like organic searches for right inside your um, right inside the AI. You can see here we did a search for that in one of our clients, and really the top one ranked there is our client. Um, you see, there's another one there in looking for Dallas, right? It found another one of our clients. So things you do where they're pulling this information, they are looking at the search results and kind of compiling a list for you. They're looking at certain things, like do you have a BBB profile, right? They so talking about SEO on your website is going to help you get ranked in these search results, right? If you take care of the things on and off your website for SEO purposes, you'll likely show up in a lot of these AI searches, right? Especially for the FAQ style questions, and we turn our clients' websites to answer a lot of these questions that people may be typing in. But like I said, Google's still king. Um, they're catching up, right? The AEO or the GEO, generative engine optimization. These other tools out there are catching up, and they're catching up fast. So, um, and yeah, I think there is. We're seeing in some cases that these AI platforms are bringing in some additional traffic to our clients, and especially in large markets, right? With a lot of people. And so you definitely want to show up in both places. Okay. So you really got to figure out like like the first step is to know where you rank, right? In the search results pages for many different variations of hospice related keywords. Okay. You also want to know like, okay, how many, like what's the search volume for these keywords? Are these keywords something we should pay attention to? Um, and so there's tools out there like in Google Ads, you can do this kind of search. You can see how many like average monthly search volume was was had in you can give it a list of keywords. You really gotta set up a great website, and that's optimized for SEO, right? There's certain elements around the website that you want to pay attention to when thinking about SEO, right? It's like the headings in the content, right? The headings, the content itself, the images, and the title tags and the meta descriptions. These are the things that show up in the search results when it's listing. But the title of each page essentially, you want to think about SEO when you're setting these these tags, okay? And you also want to think about the service area, right? So many of you operate in multiple different counties. And so how do you show up in those other counties, right? That maybe you don't have a business location in, but how do you show up in Google uh, for those in those service areas, right? And so you gotta talk about it on your website. Okay, you gotta talk about your service area, right? Have a page for all the different counties you operate in, maybe the top 10 cities, right, that have its own page. So that's going to give you the best opportunity to show up. So that's a big thing. So I think, you know, finding out where you rank for the most important keywords in your market, setting up a great website, you optimize that website for a few things, right? You want to optimize for conversion, right? You want to optimize for the user, right? The site speed is a big thing, right? If your site is really slow, if you pull up your site right now, how long does it take to load and be ready to use? Okay, these are things that you definitely want to pay attention to, um, especially for SEO. Google knows, right? If people are coming to your website, it takes too long to load, they're not going to stay long, and so Google can track that, right? If people are doing that, right, they're coming to the website and they're leaving, it's going to provide a poor user experience, and Google's not going to trust it to show in their search result. And if you think Google's whole job with their search engine is to return a valuable result to the visitor, right? You better believe they're looking at how a user interacts with your site. So. Um, And then building authority, it can be done. There's things you do off of your website also for SEO purposes. I mean, this is going to be especially in competitive markets like Dallas or Los Angeles or, um, with tons of other companies, right? Google's going to be looking at other references off of your website that reference your website. Okay, so you got to get other websites talking about you, and Google sees that as an authority, right? Like, this that must be an authority. They're someone else is linking to this website. There must be value in this website. Okay, and you got to track your results. So we have this keyword list, hospicecaremarketing.com/keyword hyphen list. It'll show you the search volume and all the different keywords that can be found. And we'll do this report for you for free, right? To let us know, go to go.hospicecaremarketing.com, and so go.hospicecaremarketing.com. We'll do the ranking report for you, hand you that link so you can see where you're ranking in your market. We'll also analyze like your website, its conversion effectiveness of it. We'll look at your online directories around the just other areas around the web that have your business name, your address, and your phone number, right? So we'll look at that. A lot of times in these directories, Some directories may be holding on to some outdated information, right? Maybe the phone number got updated or the address was changed, things like that. So you want to pay attention to those things and clean that up. So again, rank and report, we'll look at the directories, your social presence, your online reviews, your websites, its conversion effectiveness, and the on-page SEO elements as well. So again, go to go.hospicecaremarketing.com, schedule a time. Our team will run all those reports, and we'll prepare that for you. Um, yeah. So that's that. Some of the things on page, right? Off page, things you want to pay attention to, right? Optimize these H1s and pages for each. So we go through a monthly webinar where we talk about SEO. We talk about getting ranked in Google Maps, right? We talk about running paid ads. So we have a specific webinar that goes a little more deeply into each one of these. But there is a kind of little snapshot of some things you want to pay attention to for SEO optimization. And we see it every day. A lot of our clients are increasing their census. They're getting more calls, and they're getting more people reaching out online uh, asking for hospice services, right? So that's at the end of the day what we want, and SEO brings in the lion's share of that. So I think there's a spot in your workbook. If you are following along with me in your workbook, you can grade yourself. Okay, like red, green, yellow. Give yourself a grade on your organic SEO. Do you like talk about your website? If you think it's set up well enough to convert at a high level. Do you think or do you think there's things that could be done a little bit differently? Um, so rank yourself on where you stand organic SEO wise, and be on the lookout for a new webinar next year talking about SEO, talking about Google Maps optimizations, talking about your website, right? Talking about how to set it up for success when in regards to internet marketing. So um, the next thing that we're going to talk about, right, in driving leads is really the paid search. Um, and you see this little diagram here. How we set this up, right? Your organic foundation, that's your website, your SEO, right? That's going to be the lowest cost per lead, right? It's going to also be uh, a lot more like people are calling after finding your website, reading some reviews online. They're going to be much more comfortable moving forward with you because they've already done that research. Okay. So these are going to be, this is what we consider your foundation, right? You really need, even people, there's studies out there, even people that are referred to your business, 9 out of 10 times, right? So 90% of them are going to go to Google and search you up. Okay. What do you think they're looking at? They're going to be looking at your website. They're going to land on your website and they're going to be looking at your reviews on Google. So, um, this is like the foundation. If we start, doing social media or we start doing even these paid search programs, right, and we haven't considered, what the foundation is, right, the results are not going to be consistent, right? They're not going to be as good as they can be. So you really got to pay attention to your foundation. But the next thing is paid search, okay, in Google Ads, right? People, when they come to Google, right, they have intent, and we can serve them ads when they have that when they're searching for a need, right? We can serve them an ad, take them to a well thought out landing page that is set up to convert at a high level. And we're going to get that inquiry, right? We're going to track everything. And I think from there, there's other opportunities, right? If you've got a strong foundation, you're getting results from paid search, and you want some more, there's other opportunities in some paid online directories, and then social media ads. But I think before you move on, from this paid search, a couple other things need to be put into place, right? We need to have some sort of automation that follows up with the leads, right? That um, just increases your conversion uh, by starting a conversation, right? And someone comes to your website, they fill out a form. You gotta, if someone doesn't reach out to them within 5 minutes, right, that lead goes cold. So that's why we want to put a little bit of automation behind it. Send out an email, send out a text message, let them know that, hey, we got your request. Someone's going to be reaching out to you. If you need to reach us immediately, here's our number. Um, so we want to put those things in place before we consider moving on really from all of this, right? From any level here. And then also retargeting. So retargeting is going to bring people back to your website that have already been on your website. Maybe they landed on your website, they had a need, right? Not all of the people that come to your website are going to call, right? Or they're not all going to fill out a form, they're not all going to start a chat. So, but they had a need, right? A lot of them had a need. So we can serve them some ads, right, online, some display ads, some banners on other websites, right, reminding them, bringing them back to your website. Okay, this is already your audience, so this is going to be a really low cost. So it's not, we don't need to spend like $100 a day or anything like that on this retargeting. But we do want to give people, that haven't converted yet. We want to show them those ads, bring them back to the website. Now we can have a much better chance to convert. Okay, but yeah, that's what I wanted to say about that. And the setting these campaigns up, you really got to pay attention to a few different things. Okay, and why a lot of campaigns may fail. I talk to people all the time, and it's like, yeah, we tried it, it didn't work, right? They didn't get anything from it. It doesn't surprise me because the, the Google Ads, they make it seem like it's so easy to set up, and it's not. It just takes an understanding of how Google Ads works. Okay. Uh, Definitely want to think about the AdWords auction or the ads auction process, right? So a lot of times people will just set up, a campaign with one ad group, uh, target all their service areas and all the different keywords to that one, maybe to the homepage, right, of your website. And we're not, they may not be using like specific text ads that match to certain keywords and landing pages, right? Definitely want to have your keywords, the keywords that people type in, right? We want to include them in the ad copy. Okay. Um, we also need to have a specific landing page, right? Specific page designed to capture that lead. That's gonna be following best practice. Okay. On that landing page, right? You're gonna have you want to track everything, right? What you measure, you can improve. So you got to track the calls and the leads that come from that uh, those efforts, right? In Google Ads. Uh, what you measure, you can improve. Okay. So without tracking, you don't really know what's working and what's not working. So you could just be spending money on things that, are not working. Um, and you also want to listen to the calls, right? So you want to have some sort of feedback on what this person was calling about, right? If you have ads out there and people, all the people that are calling, maybe they're calling another company or they're calling for another company. They're thinking they're calling the right company, or they're calling, for employment or something like that. So there's things you could set up your campaign to avoid, right? Like we don't want to show up if anyone's looking for careers or jobs or employment. We don't want to show up when they're calling for the hospice next door, right? Or that we don't want to show up when they're looking for that hospice next door. Right? It'll confuse that visitor, and they'll call and be like, "Wait, what? I'm not calling the right company." But yeah, those are some of the things that come to mind uh, when thinking about Google Ads, right? It's like not only the keywords you got to pay attention to, but also your what you don't want to show up for, right? Which is definitely most important. Uh, you got to have those in your campaigns as well, right? So. Let me know. Have you ran Google Ads? Excuse me. Have you ran Google Ads before for your company, and how did it work? Um, Let me know there. And yeah, and then here's a report from one of our clients. I think this is actually from April to June, right? They got 111 conversions. Um, Saying, 10% of those came on service, right? So that made it, 33 services, saying the average patient brought in, 6,800 that month and 11 services, right? So, the ROI there, right? It's a 15 time on the spend, right? You can see the spend right down here, 4,900. Um, so that's what we track them for this client. Uh, and maybe it's different the conversion value there for you or for in your market. It's best to have a dashboard, right? So you can know what to like the key metric the key metrics you want to pay attention to in Google Ads are really the conversions, right? How many phone calls, how many leads did it bring in, and how much did we spend? Okay. So that's what you can see here. It's like spent this, right? We got $44 conversion. We got 111 leads since April to June that year. Um, but the other thing was retargeting and automation. So retargeting, you can set up essentially, it's putting a pixel on your website. Now, anytime someone visits the website, a pixel gets added to their browser. Now, when they're out searching around the web, right, we have the opportunity now to serve them some ads, right? Some image ads, some banners on other websites, right? Reminding them, bring them back to the site, okay? And yeah, and then some of the other things there is like database. So maybe your marketers have a database of the facilities, the doctors they keep in touch with. Definitely want to consider, emailing, staying top of mind with them. Um, and yeah, so I did mention this a minute ago, but leads that are not followed up with within 5 minutes actually go cold. And the average consumer, right? The average sale, if you've read any like sales book, the average sale is made in like the fifth or seventh touch, right? So, and a lot of today's consumers would really prefer to maybe start the conversation, maybe begin that process by text message. So the lead comes into the website and you text them back, they would feel pretty comfortable to be like, yeah, let me, um, yeah, can someone call me at 2 o'clock, right? To answer, and then they can prepare for that call for whatever reason they filled out the form, they couldn't call. So that's the idea there. Um, but yeah, we want to maximize the outcomes of every visitor that comes to your website. And you do that using retargeting. Um, so now, they come to your website. Now we can start showing them ads, bring them back to your website, and at that point, we have a much better chance to convert. So these are some examples of some some banners that, if you visited our client's website, if you're in their service area, you may see, right, in other websites. So these are like the banners that we'll create. Um, so yeah, another little grade for yourself there. How are you doing driving leads overall? Like, are you running paid ads? Are you doing anything? Like, are your marketers doing anything with their database of of facilities or doctors that they visit in the field? Um, so again, open up that workbook, give yourself a score there if you're you know next to each one. If it's being done, could be done better, right? Maybe a yellow. If it's not being done, maybe it's red. Same with paid search in your database, right? So those would highlight some opportunities for you in the SEO realm or in the driving leads realm, right? Next thing is your website, right? I mentioned that the way you lay out your website, there's there's opportunities for you to think about getting a phone call, right? Getting someone to fill out a form, okay, to request some more information. And so um, the way you design like you definitely always want a phone number in the top right. And the reason is that people read left to right, and they always like by tracking mouse movements, that usually follows the eyes of people. You can see they're always looking like over here in this area of the site, right? And then you want some sort of like call to action, okay? Um, and so clear buttons like refer a loved one or schedule a consult or request care, things like that. I want to bring in some trust symbols. Having some real photography so it really goes a long way. It really separates you from your competition that's likely using a bunch of stock photos. So really thinking through that. People do business with people they know, like, and trust. We know that having real, authentic imagery from your real team, your real in their client, in your visitors' real service area, is going to connect a lot better than a stock photo. Okay, and people would feel a lot more confident to call. Okay, and so some of the things I listed out here, right? You definitely want to speak to your avatar. You want to speak to the benefits, right, that they'll receive when they work with you. Okay, those are the things, right? Like why they should choose you. Um, Speak to their fears and frustrations, right? So you definitely want to think about your content, not talking so much about how much experience you have or how long you've been in business. People don't care about that, right? They care about what's in it for them. So we want to answer those questions throughout the website. Okay. We want to be real. We want to use real images throughout your website. Um, Video elements can go a long way. Um, your phone can take a great video and start there. Um, maybe a website welcome video, letting people know what to expect, right? Some of the benefits that that a patient may experience when coming on service. So um, leverage social proof. So those online reviews, we definitely want to bring those into the website so people can see them, right? And there's tools out there that you can just connect. It'll pull in the reviews right from Yelp or right from Google, and show them with direct links back to the source that it came from. So definitely want to include that. For our client, we include them on all pages, but we'd be happy to obviously we'd be happy to work with all of you, and we're happy to provide provide the resources and the help to accomplish this on your own. But I think some of the basics in order, right? Having the phone number in the top right, making sure there's a call to action without having to scroll, that call to action is found, right? We can't count on someone visiting the website and going to scrolling down to find a call to action, or we can't count on someone coming to your website and then going to the contact page, right? But like when someone comes to your site, you got to give them what they want right away, right? And you got about 2 to 3 seconds to really engage them, let them know they're in the right place, that you're someone they could trust, and uh, and so if you're counting on someone to scroll down to find a phone number, or you're counting on someone to to fill out a form, they have to go to the contact page. Believe it or not, you're asking a lot of that visitor. Okay. So we want to give it to them no matter what page they land on, everything they need to convert, right? The form, the chat, and the phone number on the top, right? Without having to scroll or find it. Okay. Um, and sure, calls to action, language that matches the service that they need, obviously. Like if they're coming, they're looking for hospice or palliative care, right? The website's got to talk about that. I mean, that's pretty straightforward. But you also got to think about the mobile version, right? Like what does it look like from a mobile phone? How does your website pull up? Sure. In many areas, we're seeing a little bit more than 50% of the traffic is coming from a mobile phone. So people are using their phone when they're doing a search. And so your website needs to be mobile ready, right? I mean, it's silly that I am saying this because I think, everyone, but I do see a lot of websites that could be done differently in mobile, right? Like the call button's not there. Maybe they just have a menu button, but there's no link to call. You have to scroll around to find it. But you want to make sure your website's usable on a mobile phone. I think having a chat, um, we can put a chat widget on there. We can also make it a live chat. So when someone feel you know s- starts a conversation, it will immediately text the team, hey, someone's on the chat, and then that'll prompt them to either open up the CRM or open up their app on their phone to start communicating with that person right when they're visiting your website. So that's gives people a way to start a conversation and could answer someone's question and maybe they reach out. And maybe offering a way for like getting a call back online, so they could, pick a time on a calendar that works for, the intake coordinator, what have you. Pay attention to your site speed on your website. If you go to Google, type in page speed insights. There's a couple tools out there that I recommend that you just plug your website into. One of them's straight from Google. It's a page speed insights. You can check what your current page speed is on mobile and on desktop. Sometimes mobile is the one that usually struggles, right? That usually takes a little bit longer for people. And like I said, 50% of your traffic is coming from a mobile device. It's very important. Pay attention to that. And then have some sort of like lead automation in place, right? When someone fills out a form on your website, you gotta automate some of those touch points. Shoot them an email, shoot them a text message to let them know that, we got your request and we're going to reach out to you. This person now can stop their search, right? They can go on about their day, do whatever else they need to do because they know that someone's going to reach out to them. So they'll wait for that call. So those are some of the elements that you want to pay attention to when thinking about your website. Online reviews are a big thing. we're finding our clients, the ones that have implemented what we've shared and taught, they are getting a ton of business from people finding them online and reading their reviews. And they hear it all the time. It's like, yeah, the reason I called was because I found you and you guys had such great reviews. Okay. So and it brings in a lot more phone calls, and we can clearly see, like, we do the same thing in for a client in one market, in another market we do the same thing. The reviews are different, right? If they have more competitors that have, or they have other competitors that have a lot more reviews in them, they don't get the same results. And so that, like, as soon as you put this into practice, right, and you got to train your staff, create a culture in your company uh, to ask for a review when they've heard a thank you. Okay. And you practice this with them, you remind them, and you celebrate with them, right? You celebrate, you recognize someone in the company that is doing well. And this will change the culture in your business. So we have resources for our clients, but I've also interviewed some of my clients, and you can find that on our YouTube channel. And they've shared, what's worked for them and what it's brought in. Um, but yeah, I think one of a big problem here in really in all of online marketing is just unconverted leads. So people filling out a lead form, and then that lead, you can't get a hold of them, right? You might call them back, they're not answering. That would be an unconverted lead. And so, is it lead flow, or is the problem really just having some sort of automation behind it? And what we see, is 50 to 60% of the inbound leads that happen on websites, they go unconverted, right? So they never came on service, they never answered the phone. I couldn't get in touch with them. So what do you do? And uh, or sorry, 50 to 60% of your web traffic leave, right, without filling out information. And then 90% of the web forms, right, they fail to convert. So 90%, 9 out of 10 of your leads that come in from your form online, right, fail to convert or fail to come on service. So and so, like I said, leads that are not followed up with within 5 minutes, right? They go cold. But if you try to call back a lead, they filled out a form, you try to call them back the next day or, an hour later, the likelihood of them answering the phone is dropping, right? Every minute that goes by, it just drops, drops, drops. And so the average consumer out there, they also need to be followed up with 5 to 7 times, and interacting. They much prefer to interact via text message in a lot of cases, right? Um, and so what you want to do is have some sort of automation, and you want to automate that follow up. Um, and we're not automating 5+ touches. We have three, right? So we set up 3 touches within the first 3 minutes of a lead filling out a form. So we just have 3 touches: one email and 2 text messages. And this is taking out some of the touches that are required to make a sale, right? If you think about how many touches it takes to make a sale, it's um, 5+, right? Over 5 touches. So we're taking off some of that off of your plate. Okay. And yeah, we have our CRM that takes care of that. It's called Nurture Hub. But if you want a demo of that, I'm happy to share that with you. Go to go.hospicecaremarketing.com, and then see how you did there on the website, your reputation, your automation. If you're tracking along in your workbook, let us know. And yeah, I think if you do look at, like, marketing, if you if you want to remain the same, right, investing 5% of your revenue back into marketing should keep you right should keep you the same where you are, right? Not much growth. If you want moderate growth, right, 6 to 15% should get you moderate growth, not accelerated growth. Anything over 15% of revenue is pushed back into marketing. That's where you're going to see some accelerated growth. So those are some numbers to pay attention to that you can plug in that budget planner on that calculator, hospicecaremarketing.com/calculator. Um, Average cost per lead, ROI. So those are some things that you want to pay attention to when you're optimizing results. So the ROI, right, from your marketing dollars. How many services have we had, right? How many leads did we get? How many people came on service, right? And how much did we spend? Right? Those are the metrics that you want to really keep an eye on. Um, and so, do you guys know, like, if you guys are doing digital marketing, what the average return on your investment is? Love to see that. But I think we're gonna begin to wrap up here. But any takeaways? What after listening to this, right? What do you need to focus on, right? We looked at driving leads, maximizing conversion, and optimizing results. Where's the area that you need to spend the most time on, right? What if we're looking at driving leads, do you need more organic traffic, paid traffic? Um, if there's some holes in your website, if there's some things that could be done better, laid out differently or explained differently, things could be added, right? Maybe those service area pages added. Um, Yeah, jot this down. Let me know, what's that lowest hanging fruit, and then put in your focus again, calculator.hospicecaremarketing.com. You can see this was one of our clients. Call like just the amount of calls that have increased for them. Um, And so what would it mean for you if you could put these into practice, right? You have your website, your foundation, you're getting more leads from your website, more people are coming on service, right? And we can see that and produce that, right? What would that mean for you, right? What would be different if next year your business has tripled? What would be different in your life? Maybe more busy. What? Um, Maybe obviously more staff. You're helping more families in your area. That's what I would love for you, right? Is for you to be able to serve more families in your area and hire more people, right? Hire more people, uh, and make a bigger impact for your community and their families. So. Um, if you need help with this, go to go.hospicecaremarketing.com. We do this free. We'll show you specifically what's needed for your website, right? For your business. Show you what's needed. And if it makes sense, if you think it makes sense for us to work together, you'll have that opportunity. But at least you'll walk away with some ideas on what could improve your website, right? Some ideas that could improve the overall results uh, in your SEO efforts, in your social media, in your reputation, all these things, right? I promise you will walk away with some value, even if we don't work together. So. That's my promise to you. And please visit go.hospicecaremarketing.com and we'll get that scheduled for you. So this is our accelerated growth map here for hospice provider, right? Driving leads, maximizing conversion, optimizing results. So you can expect next year we're going to be looking at each one of these areas. Um, one by one, right? We'll look at your website, things you can do on and off your website to increase the effectiveness. We'll look at Google Ads specifically. We'll look at Google Maps, how to get ranked in the Google Maps, how to get ranked organically around your in your service area, right? We'll look at, driving more leads from your Google business profile, right? In terms of reputation and automation. So keep an eye on that. Jot down those action items for you. Walk away, shoot them over to me, put them into writing, right? And put it out there, right? Send it to me, right? That is going to make it real, okay? And that's it. So again, oh, if you do need a checklist, you can go to go.hospicecaremarketing.com/checklist. Well, you can go down a list and check off, what's some things that you need to do on your website, some things that you haven't thought about on your website, in your SEO, in your reputation. Okay, so it's a good place to start. Go.hospicecaremarketing.com/checklist, and then. Um, Again, for a free report and analysis, go.hospicecaremarketing.com. Happy to do that. Or you can reach us, 877-959-5849. That's all I had for you today. Um, hope hope this was helpful. And if you need any assistance from here on out, please let me know. Thank you so much for joining, and we'll talk again soon.